Hey, how's it going? It's May 19th, 2022. This is your Daily Sweet Talk. Now, I've talked before about eating meat, uh, how I think everyone should feel bad for eating meat. Even though I eat meat myself, I try to avoid it when I can, but I'm a very picky eater. Um, if For more about that, I talked about it in Daily Sweet Talk number 81 to be caught up on my lore. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of my position on that. Uh, there are some people have to eat meat. Dietary restrictions, uh, you know, living conditions. They don't have access to a lot of variety of food, maybe. Um, but I think ideally in the future it would be good, like an ideal like utopian future would be if we didn't have to eat meat. And now some people may say, "Oh, you have to eat meat because of protein, whatever." There are things you can only get from meat that you can't get from. I would suggest looking into that more. I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert on the subject, but from what I have heard and what I know, I don't think you need meat to survive. Like there are other things you can do. I mean, this is not true for everybody, but for people are able to live off of meat. Maybe not like everyone, but that's we are raised currently like we live in a society. People are raised eating meat. Most people are, and we're kind of conditioned for that. If imagine a society where it just wasn't really the norm, even just it not being the norm, not even just gone completely, but just not being the norm. Um, it wouldn't be as big a deal to not eat meat. It would just be like, you know, I think well, the steps towards that, first of all, I think it should be less normalized. And I'm not saying it should be. I'm not saying people should be shamed for eating meat. I'm not saying people should be ashamed. I mean, I am saying that a little bit, but I think what I really mean about that is people should be aware of their actions, what they're doing. Try to be aware, like when you're eating meat, that a creature has died for. I know I'm sounding preachy, whatever, but like really think about it. Like when you're eating meat, something has died for this, and that's a big deal. I feel like that's a big deal. And it's just good to be aware about that sort of thing. And I think that would be a good first step. Is just to have like have people be less like calloused towards that and just be like not even really think about it at all. That would be. I mean, people shouldn't be miserable and sad about it all the time, I guess. But just try to like not ignore it, not just be like really think about it. And then past that, I mean, if you really want to get to that point where it's not the norm and everybody eats meat, because pretty much, I mean, there are probably societies where it's less the norm, but on the planet, because it's not everywhere is the same, obviously. But I think steps towards that is just like not, you know, if I raised a kid, I would try to raise them not eating meat, even if I was still eating meat because I'm picky. I've heard of people doing this before, and obviously, I mean, if you should probably try to lead by example, but for someone like me, like I am so picky. Like if I was raised not eating meat, I think it would be a lot easier for me to just not eat meat. But I was raised with these foods, and like I'm so picky, I can't really try other things. I mean, I'm probably just making excuses for myself, but that's how it is. And I think that's a good first step, is just like raising people with as little meat as possible. That's kind of the first steps towards getting to a meatless society.